Very good crowd already on course. Gates go back. They're off and racing in the first event on Broome Cup Day. And Totes Amaze was clearly the first one to get going. The favourite Masahiko and Boys Business around the outside. Further back then to Black is Back. Further back then to Tenure Values, who settle a fair way from them with Success Story. Beginning to run down the back inside the 1300. And the favourite Masahiko cruised to the lead. Raced out the lead by a length and a half on Boys Business. Back on the inside, Totes Amaze. And Tender Values, who didn't have a lot of luck in the early part, drives between them and will sit outside the leader very shortly. Boys Business caught 3 deep in the early bit. Further back to Black is Back, and Success Story is at the tail of the field, about to work from the back. And Tender Values presses on. Got a half on Masahiko, who probably will let it cross. Further back then to Boys Business and Totes Amaze. A length further back to Black is Back. And Success Story last about 5 from the leader. He hasn't let Tender Values cross. He's 3/4 in front now of Masahiko, who holds the fence. Then Totes Amaze and Boys Business inside the 6. Further back then to Black is Back, and Success Story last about 6 from the leader. Tender Values has done some work. Still that half length on Masahiko, who's kept the inside. Hunts up to level up as they get to the 400, about to swing. Then Boys Business, who's had a hard run. Back on the inside, Totes Amaze look to race in 2 as they swing from Black is Back, and Success Story dropped out. It's Masahiko and Tender Values. They're clear of Totes Amaze. Boys Business battles on. Further back to Black is Back, and Success Story will be pulled up again. It's Masahiko digging deep. A length on Tender Values, who's trying very hard to bridge the gap, and Masahiko had the softer run of the 2, and Masahiko starting to draw right away now. Masahiko won by a length and a half on Tender Values. 4 further back to Boys Business third. 4th Black is Back, then Totes Amaze and Success Story. Justine Louise chasing the Horse of the Year title with victory today, and she began brilliantly from the outside, and she's trying to cross them, although Drumfire on the inside hunts up to keep it out in the early part, and so too Soul Adrift. So Justine Louise out and limb in the early part as they come back behind our view out of the big screen, and Soul Adrift the outside. Just in front of Drumfire, further back then to Pegamistic, and Justine Louise ridden off the pace today, trying to get in from Winorg. Further back then to iView, a couple further back to Interval, our Shakira, then Frank Be Nimble, and reviewing Justine Louise's stablemate is last of all Soul Adrift. Claps on the pace as they work from the back. Raced out the lead by 2.5 lengths on Drumfire. Third around the outside was Pegamistic. Back on the inside Winorg, then Justine Louise, who's one off the inside, about 5 from the leader. Back on the inside to iView. Further back to our Shakira Interval. Frank Be Nimble and reviewing last about 12 from the leader. Down the side they go, and Soul Adrift up for a bit of air, led by a half length on Drumfire. Going forward around the outside, Pegamistic. Justine Louise tracks up under a big weight. Back on the inside to Winorg, our Shakira. Further back to iView, a break off Frank Be Nimble. Interval, and last was reviewing. They come to the home corner inside the 400, and Soul Adrift in front by about a half on Winorg. Justine Louise is right off the track and pushed along. iView just underneath it, wider our Shakira, and back on the inside Winorg. It's Soul Adrift balancing up by a length and a half on Pegamistic. Back on the inside Winorg. Justine Louise is under extreme pressure, and our Shakira down the outside. It's Soul Adrift in front. Winorg back on the inside, comes at it though. Winorg goes to Soul Adrift. Further back to reviewing, running on, but Winorg strides away to win easily. Winorg's won by 3 on Soul Adrift, who got the wobbles in the straight for third reviewing, or Pegamistic. Then our Shakira. Further back to iView, Interval. Justine Louise laboured under a big weight and hard run. Then Frank Be Nimble, Drumfire dropped out to run last. Winorg. Racing from the 1200, nearly a perfect start. One of the best out was Happy Playtime. Park got going very fast, and so too did the favourite Dati Bay, and the grey Springfield lad comes across just off those. Trojan Rhythm, Shinbone Buster around the outside. On the fence was Civic. Further back to Tri Sasso. Slingsby settles about 4th last. Back was Stokewood. Maggie's a gem, and Sing It Loud is last of all. Off the back inside the 800 they go, and Park raced out the lead by 2 lengths now. Running second was Happy Playtime. Dati Bay has lobbed into a perfect spot third. They've broken 3 or 4 in front of Springfield Lad, Shinbone Buster, Trojan Rhythm the centre, back on the inside Civic, further back to Slingsby giving the leaders a fair start, then Try Sasso, Stokewood ridden along from Sing It Loud, and Maggie's a Gem was back to the tail of the field. The South Headland Gallopers, Zar Park goes strongly as they come for home, led by 2.5 on Happy Playtime. Dat Bay to the outside, wider still the grey Springfield Lad, Civic is back behind them, then Shinbone Buster and then Slingsby. It's Zar Park hard up against the fence in front. Springfield Ladder, Dat Bay are bridging the gap. Slingsby and Shinbone Buster. Zar Park running on empty. Springfield Lad, Dat Bay the centre. Zar Park, Springfield Lad, Dat Bay. They go to the line. Maybe, just maybe, Springfield Parker a nose to Dat Bay, but it's a photo. Zar Park tied to third. Then Slingsby running on. Further back then we've got Shinbone Buster, Civic, Stokewood. Further back to Trojan Rhythm. A break off then to Maggie's a Gem. Further back to Sing It Loud, Happy Playtime, Try Sasso last. It's a photo. Gates go back from the 2020, and this Cat Rocks, the favourite, began very quickly in the centre, presses on. Geronimo away much better today from Gallipoli Prince, and Freshman keeps the inside. Frio Storm, then Hollywood Land, 10 out of 10. It is this Cat Rocks leading from Gallipoli Prince, Geronimo, further back to Freshman, Frio Storm, Hollywood Land, Blood Buzz Ohio, back behind those 10 out of 10. Further back then to Montoyas with Bit of Value second last, and he's back towards the tail of the field along with Mahunga, about to come back into our view. They swing to the turn of the back, and this Cat Rocks has raced out to lead by a length and a half on Gallipoli Prince, who lobbed into a beautiful spot. Third was Geronimo. Back on the inside there was Freshman, who settles fourth. A further length and a half back to Hollywood Land, who's fifth. The outside, the inside Frio Storm. Then 10 out of 10 back on the centre now was Blood Buzz Ohio. A couple Montoyas further back to Bit of Value, and Mahungi is last, about 12 from the leader. At the 1100 they go on the favourite, this Cat Rocks, led by a length and a half on Gallipoli Prince. A similar margin, Geronimo. The outside, Blood Buzz Ohio. Further back to Freshman. His outside was Hollywood Land. Further back then on the inside, we've got Frio Storm. Montoyas begins to run. 10 out of 10 is back in the centre. Further back to Bit of Value, and Mahungi is back with him. They leave the back. At the 800 metre turn they go, and this Cat Rocks strolls along. This Cat Rocks by a length and a half on Gallipoli Prince, who's pushed along. Blood Buzz Ohio quickly got to second. A big break, 4 or 5 to Geronimo. Further back to Hollywood Land, who gives the leader about 6 or 7 before the bend. Freshman going forward around the outside, Mahungi with Montoyas. A lot of tied horses here, 10 out of 10. Further back to Bit of Value and Frio Storm. They swing for home, and these two have raced right away. It's this Cat Rocks and Blood Buzz Ohio. They're 6 in front of Mahungi, who keeps making ground, but a long way from the leading pair. Then Geronimo further back to Hollywood Land. It's this Cat Rocks and Blood Buzz Ohio clear of Mahungi, who continues to make ground at the 200, hard ridden. This Cat Rocks is still in front. Blood Buzz Ohio and then Mahungi. This Cat Rocks digs deep. Mahungi challenging for a while, but this Cat Rocks is far too good. This Cat Rocks pulls away to win by nearly 3 on Blood Buzz Ohio, who was game. Third, Mahungi's made up many lengths in the straight. Then Geronimo fourth. A Bit of Value got going again. 10 out of 10. Montoya's a break off to Hollywood Land. Freshman, Frio Storm, and Gallipoli Prince has pulled up at the racing, just hoping from the outside away very fast, so too the Factor. In the all red flying Coco presses on. Yocto just off those from Billastrini. Then Northern Heritage the favourite. Fresco Flyer will settle second last. And last of all was King Cubator to the 1,000 they go. And just hoping scampers out to lead by a length and a half on Flying Coco to second. A couple further back to Northern Heritage and the Factor. Yocto back on the inside. A couple further back then. On the outside there was King Cubator. Back on the inside was Fresco Flyer, and Billastrini is back with them. Down the side they go. And just hopeful by a length and a half on Flying Coco, third Yocto. In the centre there was the Factor, 3 deep Northern Heritage. A couple further back to Fresco Flyer, giving the leader a fair start on the bend. The stablemates Billastrini and King Cubator at the tail of the field, about to swing for home. And as they turn, Just Hoping. It's Just Hoping as they turn by about 3 lengths on Flying Coco. Yocto back on the inside, further back to the Factor. Wider still was Northern Northern Heritage. Fresco Flyer is back on the inside. It's Just Hoping going strongly, well clear inside the 200. Out by 3 on Yocto. The Factor battles on Northern Heritage. Further back to Flying Coco, but another winner for the Southerners, and Just Hoping has run them off their feet. Just Hoping wins by 3. Fresco Flyer got going late for second. Third maybe Billastrini over Northern Heritage, Yocto, then the Factor, Kincubator, and a Flying Coco has even eased out of it. About to let them run. 3 in the Pateman colours are off and racing, and Wise Decision from the inside began very quickly. Roebuck was away very fast, and so too driving between them was the Carista, and All Ruby presses on just off those was One of Us. Further back to Markham Joe, Wizards Pointed. Western Gunner is at the tail of the field. Down the back they go, and the favourite Wise Decision a half on All Ruby. Back third was One of Us. Fourth the outside, the Carista. A length further back was All Ruby, who covers up Markham Joe as they swing from the back. About 3 further back to Wizards Point, and Western Gunner is at the tail of the field. Down the side they go, and it's Wise Decision stretching out a length and a bit on All Ruby. Third the Carista, who covers up One of Us, who's back on the inside. Fifth Markham Joe, then further back to Roebuck, then Wizards Point, who tacks on, and about 3 further back to Western Gunner before the bend. He's off and gone on Wise Decision. He cut the ribbons and he raced 3 in front. Back on the inside, One of Us battles away. Further back then to the Carista, All Ruby, and then Markham Joe. They swing, and Wise Decision full of running, led by a couple. Down the outside, running on very hard as One of Us. The stablemate also. Markham Joe starts to run on the Carista. It's Wise Decision clear. The other stablemates are battling it out for second and third for the moment. Markham Joe and One of Us, but Wise Decision is too good. Wise Decision won by 2.5. Markham Joe is second. One of Us is third. Darren Pateman trifecta, and we've had enough of the lime green for the moment. The Carista is fourth, then Wizards Point. A break off then to Roebuck. Further break then to Western Gunner, and All Ruby has tailed off to finish at the tail of the field. Light on. Broome Sprint Field is off and running. He lets them go. They've jumped away in a good line. Liquidation began brilliantly. Iron Jacket going very fast, and so too Hurricane Hound. No Name City just off those. Back on the inside, In Faith from Bang High, then Dan Rain. Caught a little wide trying to get into the field. Further back to Sneaky Busterbill at the tail of the field. Down the back they go, and Liquidation travelling strongly in the leader half on Iron Jacket. Hurricane Hound eased to take a trail as they leave the back. No Name City runs fourth at the 800 metre marker. Then Bang High, In Faith back on the inside. Dan Rain must be 6 to 8 lengths off. Liquidation down the side. Further back Sneaky. Buster Bill is last of the 600 metre marker, and the Class C Liquidation raced out to lead by 3 on Iron Jacket. Hurricane Hound holds third. A couple further back to No Name City. Dan Rain through the centre. Bang High back on the inside. Further back to Buster Bill, Sneaky, and In Faith drops to the tail of the field. Under 63 kilos. He hasn't raced for 12 months. A Liquidation led them into the straight by 2. Hurricane Hound comes out after him. His lead is diminishing quickly. Dan Rain is down the outside. Wider still was Iron Jacket, and further back then to Buster Bill. But Dan Rain had driven a lead now from Hurricane Hound, Iron Jacket and Buster Bill. But Dan Rain is racing away to win the Broome Sprint. Dan Rain by 2.5 on Hurricane Hound third. Buster Bill fourth was Iron Jacket. Then Sneaky. Liquidation got very tight in the straight. Bang High further back to In Faith. No Name City at the tail of the field. Lets them go, they're off and racing. A perfect start away. Enshrined was away very fast, so too Tranquillo. Henny Shaker just off those, and Black Queen drives to be handily placed. Flying Solo back on the inside from Empress of Ireland. Back then to Kazuri. One going forward around the outside. We'll pick him up in a second. Back then to Lux Elusive with Aussie Bell and Via Ringaraz at the tail of the field as they raced off the back and going to a clear lead. Enshrined raced out the lead by a length and a half on Henny Shaker. Back on the inside, Tranquillo. Further back to Black Black Queen, Rockstar Baby it was. Further back to Empress of Ireland, then Flying Solo. Kazuri is back third or fourth last with Lux Elusive, and at the tail of the field, Via Ringarara and Aussie Bella. Inside the 600, enshrined in front by about a half. Going to second was Henny Shaker. 3 deep was Black Queen before the bend. Further back to Rockstar Baby making ground. Tranquilla was back on the inside. Flying Solo, Lux Elusive, then Empress of Ireland as they swing. Kazuri, Via Ringarara and Aussie Bella's last. They turn for home and enshrined in front. Henny Shaker about to level up, or try to at least. Black Queen to the outside. Wider still then was Rockstar Baby at the 200 metre mark. Enshrined is holding them for the moment. Henny Shaker trying hard. Black Queen is trying hard as well. It's enshrined just in front. Henny Shaker going to it strongly though. Henny Shaker enshrined, stride for stride they go. Henny Shaker does best. Henny Shaker ahead on enshrined. Third Black Queen. Kazuri might be fourth over Flying Solo. Then Rockstar Baby, Tranquillo, Lux Elusive, Via Ringarara. Aussie Bell last was Empress of Ireland. There's one final look across the field. Gates go back. They're off and racing in the 2015 4X Gold Broome Cup to an enormous roar. And Galimba Blast on the inside hit the ground running and will take full advantage of the inside gate. True Gold comes across. Devilish Intent in the first 2 or 3. And I'm Called Earl works across as well from Design for Life, the Northern Territorian. At the winning post, and I'm Called Earl will lead from True Gold and Galimba Blast. Devilish Intent, the centre from Design for Life. Central Park is back on the inside. A lot of these fancy runners are worse than centre field. Gold Broker's back about fourth or fifth last, push to pass with Galaxon. Desert Glow just ahead of him comfortably, and Gladstone at the tail of the field, about to work to the back, and it is I'm Called Earl by a length and a half on True Gold, who's lobbed into a beautiful spot. Design for Life as they go behind the screen runs third. Back on the inside fourth was Galimba Blast. Further back then to Reeve Gauch, who goes forward around the outside from Central Park in the centre there. Was Devilish Intent. Gold Broker, I don't think they ever thought he'd be back 3 deep centre field or worse. Back on the inside to Desert Glow from push to pass. Galaxon comfortably, and Gladstone at the tail of the field. It's I'm Called Earl setting a very genuine pace in the cup as they're about to work from the back. It's I'm Called Earl by a length and a half on Design for Life. The Northern Territorian gets to second. Back on the inside, given every mortal hope, True Goal from Reeve Gauch. Back on the inside, Galimba Blaster, and then Central Park and Devilish Intent. Further back then to Desert Glow, who makes some ground. His outside and going forward was Gold Broker, but he hasn't a lot of luck. Push to pass Galaxon in the Ferrari red colours. Gladstone second or third last, and comfortably as last of all. They come up with about 500 metres left to go in the cup, and it's a changing scene now where I'm Called Earl joined by Design for Life, the Northern Territorian. True Gold trying to work off the inside. Devilish Intent is off around the outside. Gold Broker is very wide. Further back then to Galaxon, who's ridden for a bit of luck, and wider still was Desert Glow. Devilish Intent at the 250. Had stormed up and gone to the lead. Central Park gets through. Here's Gold Breaker. Desert Glow is down the outside, and Galaxon is back on the inside. Devilish Intent in front. Desert Glow's got him though. Desert Glow goes to Devilish Intent. Desert Glow hits the lead, and another cup for Peter Hall. Desert Glow beat Devilish Intent. Reeve Gauch was third. Behind those we got Galaxon. Further back then to Central Park comfortably. Gold Broker, True Gold, Gladstone. Back behind those I'm Called Earl with Galimba Blast, push for pass, and Design for Life is last. There they go, they're off and racing in the last event of the day, and Dustin Diamonds came out running the bingos quickly. So too does She's the Business. Just off those was Has to Be Gold. Further back to Little Larrikin, Swick Sasso. Carburetor is back on the inside. Further back, one going forward right around the outside was Corrigan. Just ahead of him was the Chiro San. Retires a long way back, further back to Hasselhoff. Sound of the Ocean is back with those, and he's back towards the tail of the field as they slide down the side at the 600 metre mark, and She's the Business was a length on Has to Be Gold. Third was Corrigan, then a Chiro San. Back on the inside, the Bing from Dustin Diamond. Swixasso going forward around the outside was Hasselhoff. Further back then, as they come to the bend, was Ratea's a long way from them. Sound of the Ocean with Carburettor. They turn for home, and She's the Business has got away by a couple on Has to Be Gold. Further back then to a Chiro San. Swixasso and Dustin Diamond's battles on, but She's the Business going strongly clear of Has to Be Gold. Down the outside, Swixasso runs on into second place, but She's the Business wins the last. She's the Business beats Swixasso. Has to Be Gold is third. Carburettor getting home strongly to fourth. Then Dustin Diamonds, Ratea, the Chiro San, Sound of the Ocean. Further back, the Bing, Hasselhoff. Back towards the tail of the field, we've got Corrigan with Little Larrikin.